Yeah, well, one of the claims is that Bashar al-Assad has killed in his political positioning more people than have been killed by Islamic State. That sort of question.
Well, I mean, who's saying these things?
Who's saying these things?
I mean, Bashar al-Assad hasn't killed anyone in his life, as far as I know. He himself, but that's the way the media loves to do this. You know, Assad loyalists, Bashar al-Assad killing people.
Well,
right? And so, how do they actually?
It's representing the army.
But how do they actually work out their calculus about
Yeah.
who is killing who and the numbers being killed by each person involved in this? There's no way they can do it.
No.
So it becomes just a simple propaganda statement. And the fact is that Syria has been targeted in what is the most extraordinary attempt in modern history to destroy an Arab state.
Mm.
That's it.
Mm.
It's worse than Iraq, worse than Lebanon, worse than anything that's happened before, going all the way back to Algeria in 1830 with the French.
Mm.
Right? It is the most relentless, remorseless attack on an Arab country in modern history.
Mm.
And the fact is that Bashar, as the president, right, and he has a functioning government. I mean, I don't know what these people who use these expressions like dictator are thinking. He has a foreign minister, he has an interior minister, he has a defence minister.
Yeah.
He listens to them, he takes their advice.
Yeah.
Right? They're the ones who know, right? And they formulate strategies to try to fight off this attack.
Yeah.
And they've been doing this for 4 years. Now, of course people are going to be killed, and civilians are going to be killed too. If you've got armed men who've infiltrated towns and cities, how are you going to get them out without civilians being killed? Right? There's a big difference between killing civilians when you're trying to drive these people out, and what ISIS does, which is to pick them all up, round them up, and kill them by the hundreds, because they don't like them, because they're Alawites or because they're Christians or whatever. So this is a war. It's a war, right?
And this is the spin game.
Of course, it's a spin game. Of course it is. You know.
That's what we think.
Well, one point to make, first of all, is that the Gulf Arabs, Saudi Arabia in particular, and Sheikh Qaradawi and his cellmates or soulmates, perpetually say that this is an Alawi state. Well, excuse me, the Syrian government is multi-ethnic, right? It includes Christians, Sunni Muslims, Alawis, it's across the range. Who's got the talent gets into the ministry. The Syrian army is more than 80% Sunni Muslim. Sunni Muslim. More than 80%. The foot soldiers are Sunni Muslim. The Alawis can constitute about 10% of the overall population of the country. So what are these Sunni Muslims doing? Right? Holding together, because the army is held together. The media try to drum up defections in the early stages. Oh, all these people are defecting. In fact, there are hardly any. The army has been just about rock solid, right, through this whole attack. So what are the Sunni Muslims doing? Well, they're not acting as Sunni Muslims, of course. They're acting as Syrians, and they're defending their country. And large numbers of them have died, roughly about 60,000, probably more, out of the 200,000 or so we're told who have been killed. Right? Now, so that's one kind of thing that the media doesn't like to talk about. The second thing is that Bashar is popular. People like him. They might be critical of the system, they might not like the system. They might think the system should be replaced. They like Bashar. And this has been the case from the very, very beginning. It's something else the media very rarely acknowledges. Third thing is that Bashar, over the last 3 years, has taken very important steps in reforming Syria's constitution. Okay? They had a constitutional referendum, they changed the constitution, they took the Ba'ath Party, removed it as a central pillar of the state, they introduced a multi-party system, they had multi-party elections, they had observers from 30 countries observing those elections. They all said they're perfectly fair, perfectly free, and an overwhelming majority, and this is for the presidential election, which they had parliamentary plus presidential, voted for Bashar. Right? Now, all these things Syria has done, completely ignored or dismissed out of hand in the Western media, because it doesn't suit them.
Doesn't fit.
It doesn't suit them. They're not, because, and the main point here is, of course, this whole rhetoric about, you know, we have to give the Syrians democracy, and we have to kind of give Syrians transition to democracy, was all nonsense, because it was not the point at all. The whole point was to destroy Syria and to destroy the Syrian government in particular, and to destroy Syria if that's what you had to do. Right? So, you know, the readers of the media, the viewers of the print media, the viewers of television are gullible and have been played upon. right? And this is what happens in every war. This is what governments do. You know? They dehumanise, they invalidate, they set people up as worthy of being destroyed.
Yeah, we know
Right?
complicated issues. We know complicated events.
Well, and of course, you know, and of course, if Australia had ever got to the point where they were going to send troops to Syria, it's all set up.
Yes.
Oh, we have to do. Our boys have to go and fight and get rid of the dictator, right? And give the Syrian people democracy. They just fall into it. Okay. And that's, you know, it's nothing new under the sun. Yeah.
What about the other claim is that he has used chemicals on his own people.
Right.
Is that true?
Well, as far as I understand, no, it's a complete lie. And there were, before the big chemical weapons attack, apparently around Damascus in 2013, there have been many smaller episodes of chemical weapons being used. And one, where was it, in northern Syria, and I forget the person, whoever it was, a UN person, who concluded that no, this wasn't the Syrian government. It was the armed groups. Was it Khalid Ponty? Yeah, right. And when it comes to the big one, around Damascus, well, we know that what was behind that Barack Obama had said that the use of chemical weapons, implicitly by the Syrian government, is a red line. Now, if chemical weapons had been used by someone else, probably there wouldn't have been a red line. But implicitly, the use of chemical weapons by the Syrian government is a red line. If that red line is crossed, we'll be in there. But this is a signal to outside elements. Like, all we've got to do is set it up to get him across the red line. So some of these earlier attacks had been set up for that reason, and they didn't work. Okay, we have to try harder. So you get the big chemical weapons attack around Damascus, apparently in August 2013, right, where sarin gas was used, and there've been many allegations that this came from Turkey. Okay, and a large number of people killed, 1,300. We were told by the media. Are those figures correct? We don't know what the truth is behind this chemical weapons attack. We don't know much about it at all, because the media picked it up, used it. Look what he's done. This beast, this monster, this tyrant is now using chemical weapons against his own people. All right? And they used it as propaganda. Then they dropped the whole thing. And we saw pictures of children who had been killed. Who are those children? They're just kind of faces in a photograph, right? On television or in the media. And they were used for a few days and then dismissed. We never heard about them again. And a lot of people got into this, like Mother Agnes, the Syrian nun. And she did the work the journalists should have done. She looked at the photograph and said, well, hang on, wait a moment, that photograph was taken here, and that photograph was taken there. They've got the same people in them, right? And there are allegations that some of those children we saw actually had come from Latakia, which is a heavily Alawite population, and the Takfiri gangs would have no hesitation in killing Alawite children. It might seem a terrible, harsh thing to say, but that's them, right? That's what they like. So there are all kinds of questions to be asked about that chemical weapons attack, which the media didn't even look at, right? Didn't even look at. And then we had more thoughtful studies, like scientists in America at MIT. They studied the trajectory of the rockets, right? Where they would have had to come from, and no way they couldn't have come. They couldn't have come from Syrian military positions. We had one person appearing on television, the victim of a sarin gas attack, and whose report was that? I forget who got involved in all of this, but there's no sarin anywhere else in the environment. There's nothing on the grass, nothing on the building, just this man saying, look, I've been the victim of a sarin gas attack. Right? And so the whole thing unravelled, and then Seymour Hersh, the gun American reporter, right, since Vietnam, he weighed in with his own report, which the New Yorker would not publish. The London Review of Books had to publish, and he pulled a lot of this together, right? And the conclusion that he came to was that Obama nearly fell into this trap and retreated just at the last moment because he was being told by his own people, actually, there's something about this is not right. Right? You know, we're being set up. Don't get involved here. All right. And what Seymour Hersh, the only conclusion from his article that this had nothing to do with the Syrian military or the Syrian government. It was attacked by armed groups. If it was a real attack, with the support of outside governments. Yeah. So,